Day 3 now of our look back at the EBO Festival at York. It started off with a very competitive 12 furlong handicap and another hard luck story. This time, does Willie Wagtail deserve to win a decent handicap?
I think he does. Once again, because of his luckless passage through the race, he won't go unnoticed in the market next time. He didn't on this occasion. Pick him up. This was a race that really suited those held up. The likes of Silvery Moon went off. Tet Makia, the chestnut in yellow colours, the grey Silvery Moon, went off, I think, too hard. The splits would certainly suggest that. Hold-up horses came very much to the fore, and patiently ridden in that red cap, Willie Wagtail begins to thread his way through. I was beginning to get confident at this point. I suspect Jamie Spencer was. But Kieran Fallon's in front on Kurt Hill. An old-school Fallon. Bang! He locks the door on Willie Wagtail. The head jars up in the air as he runs out of racing room, loses valuable momentum. Kurt Hill strides on. A word for that horse in the visor in second. Man Chuzzlewit runs a belter, up with the pace for longer than most. Tropical Beat in third, Willie Wagtail in fourth, giving the strong impression that he's definitely handicapped to win one of these. And it's not just that run which puts me in his corner. If you have a look at his luckless Goodwood's Passage, another sob story, but also the Kempton win, he won really well on the Polytrack. That form worked out very nicely. The stable Ed Walker's horses have been going really well for a while now, so I'd have to have this horse firmly in mind for a handicap. He raced off a mark of 88 here. He might go up a pound or two, but I still think he's ahead of the game from 90 or thereabouts.
I'm going to repose the question. When you say he deserves to win a big handicap, Graham, his style of running from the hold-up, he's always going to run the risk of running into traffic problems.
Could be. Could well be. It's twice now in two big festivals, two costly incidents of traffic trouble. That's the deal when you have a rider like Jamie Spencer. Worked out perfectly on Trade Storm. Charmed run at the centre, bolted up. It didn't work out on Willie Wagtail. I highlight him knowing full well that he won't be missed by the video mob, but I highlight him because of Kempton. Have a look back at the Kempton win, the way that form worked out. This is a horse with bags of ability. All he needs are the brakes.
We're going to move on to the Group 2 Gimcrack Stakes, and again we find Kevin Ryan weaving his magic with another two-year-old.
This one, Blaine. Nice one, Gordon. Blaine, of course. And this is a horse who's just fast, precocious, and wins the Gimcrack on only his second start. Here's a close-in shot. I think the first point to mention is it may well not have been a vintage Gimcrack. 106 time form rating isn't high for the race. We had a bunch finish, and the second, gallant second, in the green colours, is Heavy Metal, who was giving £3 to Blaine. But Blaine just showed brazen speed, really willing attitude. 5 horses separated by a length and 3/4, a bunch finish. And if you go back through the annals of Gimcrack history, you'll find plenty of horses, Gordon. That was the high watermark of their careers. Some never won again. I'm thinking of the likes of Shaweel, Showcasing. Several others didn't win again. But on the flip side, Kevin Ryan has won the Gimcrack before with Amadeus Wolf. That horse went on to win the Middle Park a few weeks later, Group 1 at Newmarket.
A decent sire.
And a Duke of York Stakes further down the line. So every reason for Connections to be full of enthusiasm about Blaine. I suspect he might be a Middle Park contender. Bear in mind, he's 106 time form. That doesn't win you a Middle Park. Bear in mind, he got £3 from the runner-up, Heavy Metal. Another luckless defeat on the Knavesmire for Mark Johnson. And bear in mind that there were 5 horses spanned by 2 lengths. Good quality performance second time out, more needed if he's going to win a Group 1.
And, well, only time will tell how good this year's Gimcrack is.
Exactly, but Kevin Ryan touched on the thing that York is just enormous for his team, his owners, his lads, his riders, himself, obviously. And to win those 2 big 2-year-old races in consecutive days with Hatoto and Blaine, you're right, there's a bit of magic there.
Another group race coming up, this time the Strenso Stakes, and it's Dubai Prince here showing his good side.
Yes, he can be sort of Prince Charming, or he can be a bit of a frog from time to time. But I don't think he stayed 1.5 miles at Goodwood the time before. Back over this shorter trip, in Group 3 company, and with a really good lead. They went fast here. Fury went too fast under Richard Hughes and paid the penalty. It set things up for finishers. Frankie was very patient on Dubai Prince. He records, Gordon, at a time form rating of 120 here. True gallop, 3 sub-12-second furlongs in the heat, middle section of this race. And Dubai Prince sweeps on by on the outside. He's got Tazahum, who ran well in this race for a second year running. He's got Yellow Colours Side Glance, who was giving the winner £4, comes out just about the best horse at the weights. Dubai Prince wins it decisively. Godolphin's representative Simon Crisford says we've probably overfaced him once or twice. He was right back at the right trip and right grade here. Just to broaden this out again, that horse in yellow, Side Glance, gave £4 to Dubai Prince, came out just the best horse at the weights. Side Glance was beaten 11.5 lengths by the mighty Frankel in the Queen Anne. Premio Loco was beaten 18 of your Scottish lengths by Frankel at Ascot. Those two horses in a different parish to Frankel at Ascot have now won a Group 2 Premio Loco and come out the best horse in a Group 3. That Queen Anne Stakes form is highly, highly impressive.
And final word on Dubai Prince, by my reckoning, that was the first time Frankie had ridden him, so had he anything to do with that?
Is that correct? I hadn't checked that out.
I think he has, yeah.
If that's right, then I'm sorry I missed it, because that is a real salient point.
Yeah.
He is a good quality horse when he's right. I think he has the $3 at Longshore on Art Weekend on his dance card now. That's a race Godolphin have done very well in recent times, and Dubai Prince with a time for mark of 1:20 should be a big player in it.
We move to the Speedsters. This time it's the Nunthorpe Stakes, and it's Ortesia taking the Nunthorpe for Thunder from Down Under.
Yes, very significant story for the Aussies. They've dominated our sprints again thanks to Black Caviar and Hortensia ×2 at Goodwood and at York here. Tactics did play a part. That horse on the right, the trailblazing Hamish McGonigal, laid the foundations for horses on the far side to come to the fore. Not just Hortensia, also Humidor, Spirit Quartz, etc. Horses on the near side like Pearl Secret, perhaps even Bated Breath, didn't get the same run into the race. But watch this final furlong and a half from Hortensia. Just as at Goodwood, she absolutely blitzes home. They may well have gone too hard. She may well be slightly flattered by the way the race developed. But we saw at Goodwood and at York that she is a proper Group 1 sprinter. She also seems a Cadillac who needs a bit of space to roam. And bunching might be a problem for her if they all go hard up the middle in the Sprint Cup at Haydock. But she's really enriched this sprint scene here with Paul Massara, with William Buick, who's been a key part in that story after Craig Williams had to go back down. And if she's on your tail entering the final furlong, it doesn't matter who you are, you're in for a hell of a race.
And fair play to Connections, Graham. They've not been wrapping her in cotton wool. They've been running her in all the top sprints all summer.
4 of them. She boiled over badly. I knew she was done before the Kingstown Stakes. The mood she was in the paddock and at the start was horrible. I don't know why. The bog in the July Cup plainly wasn't to her liking, or that of plenty others. But she showed what she could do at Goodwood and at York. And now, I don't know how the figures stack up on Time Form or BHA. There's the ticklish question of who's going to be champion sprinter. Is it Black Caviar? Is it Hortensia? Or is it still to be decided at Haydock a week on Saturday?
You'll find out if you're watching on Racing UK, because the Haydock Park Sprint will be live a week on Saturday. We move to the Convivial Stakes now, a 7-furlong maiden for 2-year-olds. This time Wentworth can go a fair way after this performance.
Yeah, Wentworth is held in the highest regard at Richard Hannon's stable, and it's still about potential and reputation than actual performance from Wentworth, but he does well to win this in the Coolmore colours. They've got 2 horses with the Hannons, I believe, this season, and he gets in some pretty heavy traffic entering the final 2 furlongs.
As he did at Goodwood.
Exactly. He had no luck that day. He had traffic problems here, but he gets out in ample time and he wins what's traditionally a good maiden tidily in the end. He shows acceleration late on. He quickens to get himself out of that pocket and go clear late on. He records a time for mark of 95p. It's a maiden, Gordon, and it's half a length and half a length. But there's something about this horse, the buzz from Connections, they don't seem in any doubt that he's ready for a step up in grade to listed or pattern class, and they see him as one for the longer term, not just for this year. He's by no means just a precocious horse. They really like him, so we'll find out a good deal more about Wentworth when he goes up in grade next time.
Yeah, owned by the Magner and Tabor connection. Again, a similar comment we made about another horse, Graham. The style of running, you're always likely to just have some hard luck stories.
Possibly, but it's early days in his career yet. When he lines up for a listed or a Group 3, he'll be a maiden winner by half a length, but it doesn't quite tell the full story, and they've seen more than enough good horses at the Hannons to know when they have a potential pattern class 2-year-old on their hands, and they plainly feel that this is one such.
Final race then of day 3 is a nursery over 6 furlongs. This time Majestic Moon can rise and shine this autumn.
Definitely. He was second of his stable's 3 runners in this very hot nursery. It had the look of one of the best nurseries we've seen all season. On this occasion, his stablemate, Mary's Daughter, for Richard Fahey, wins from the 18 box, starting left of picture, coming centre field, showing speed, staying on willingly. But in the yellow sleeves and the striped cap at the back of that bunch, Majestic Moon has done himself some damage here. From the 1 box, he reared at the stalls, got off to a very bad beginning, met some trouble in running, takes a good while to pick up, but watch the way he picks up. Mary's Daughter and Laura Barry, good word for her. She's doing really well for Richard Fahey at the moment. Very tidy in the finish. But when the stagger unwinds, look at the way Majestic Moon finishes. This was off a BHA mark of 79. I certainly think he's better than a 79 horse. Plenty of other people will. These eye catchers all tend to get picked up either before or after we highlight them. Lots of people gravitate towards the same horses. It ends up in something of a team steam next time. But Richard Fahey's in no doubt this horse has a bright future. I'm inclined to agree with him, and it looks as if, a bit like his older half-brother, Majestic Miles, he's going to be well suited by 7 furlongs.
Yeah, I saw him win his maiden over 6 furlongs at Ayr, and as Graham says, he reared at the start there, doing all his best work at the finish and beaten, running on by 5 lengths.
I think it was Richard Fahey's, Mary's Daughter was Richard Fahey's only winner of the week. That would have been slightly disappointing for Richard. He had lots and lots of runners, but it indicates how fiercely competitive it is. Just to get 1 on the board, it's a big thrill at York. And for Laura Barry, well, she's had a fair few winners now, but that's the best of them so far, I'm sure.